This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IPA Livecast. The Los Angeles fire is dangerously close to Danzig's house. If you see an elderly man walking aimlessly with bags of kitty litter and no house to bring them to, call the authorities immediately. Wait, I am getting a breaking update. The house has been saved by a moat of cement bricks. The cats are safe. Our IPA Livecast starts now.
Oh, we love a happy ending.
Notice she didn't give a shit about Danzig at all.
Well,
I
have to say that, first off, our thoughts are with all the Livecast stars.
Yes.
In the greater Los Angeles area affected by these fires. It's no joke. It's very sad seeing what's happened.
How's Dan Ozzie? Is he okay?
He is okay. Friend of the show, Dan Ozzie, is okay.
Deuterino?
Deuterino, I'm not aware. I don't know. But I think he lives further out, right?
Douglas Levis.
Hopefully Leroy's okay. And Ozzy the cat, is your cat's name Ozzy?
Ozzy, yes.
He's right behind you. He's popping up. I see him.
He's going in the window. I have a window open.
Oh,
He loves that. Loves to
well,
look
gossip
at the birdies.
queen.
The birdies as they go by.
Does he try to lunge at them?
No, he just passively observes. He don't want to know people, by the way. He doesn't know from people. Like, leave me alone. Gossip queen, never him. He will jump down from the window if he sees like a person across the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this window doesn't have
there you go. A person must have walked by. He's over.
This one's looking at just only the street. There's no window across, but he's just very fickle, little fickle boy.
Bobka's a big pigeon bully. If she's walking and there's a pigeon in her path, she'll like huff and puff and like, hey, get the fuck out of my way.
Fucking classic Bobka.
There was one pigeon that was like sick or something and like didn't fly off. And essentially it was like the first time Bobka's bluff was called because, she's posturing like, oh, I'm so tough. You better get away. And then the bird didn't get away. So Bobka was like right up to it. And then she just turned to us like, what's going on? Yeah. I don't get it.
And then you walked over and stomped the pigeon to death.
Yeah, then I kicked the pigeon and then she felt better.
You have to make your dog feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to RAPL Livecast, folks. It's Rob here with Sid and Darren. It's a awful Saturday afternoon weather-wise. I mean, it could be worse. It's snowed a little bit this morning.
Oh, did it? Oh, is it sticking?
Barely. I think it was over, I think, by the time I was awake.
I was about to say, I felt like yesterday that meme you ever see that meme where it says 45 degrees in October and the person has like 9 layers of clothing on, and then 45 degrees in March and they're like a fashion model with a scarf and t-shirt. That was me yesterday because it was like 40. I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Totally agree. The difference between 25 and 45 is far larger than from 45 to 65, I think.
Yeah. It's been Arctic here. It's awful.
Yeah, it's been unbearable. Like my face hurts being outside.
Yeah. But, it's all over. You see, one half of the country's burning down. We've got these ridiculous temperatures. We're all going to hell.
But thankfully, we're all doing something about it. By which I mean nothing.
Right.
Or finding like some lesbian fire chief to blame this on. It's her fault. It's DEI's fault.
Gotta blame someone, I suppose.
Following in the footsteps of Meta, the parent company of Facebook, we also are going to be removing any DEI initiatives from the RIP Livecast.
Does that mean Shannon's fired?
Right. Yes, we're getting Chuck back.
Yeah.
We're getting a white man voice back. I'm no longer gay. I'm no longer legally gay.
In order only to stay on the show, you're saying that.
I'm now Peter Thiel gay.
You're one of the good ones.
You want to convert?
No, it's just like I'll bone dudes, but I'm not gonna it's going to be completely suppressed, so you never hear about it. So sorry, no more sauna talk, folks.
Our Mina Caputo era is over. We're back to our Keith Caputo era.
Well, you joke, but
I don't joke.
He's very serious about his detransition. He actually went on another podcast of this trans man, this conservative trans man, Buck Angel.
Come on, stop. That's not a name.
That's his name.
Yeah. I've seen interviews with this person.
She's a trans man.
Before she transitioned, was her name Angel Buck? So she just flipped it and it was good to go?
Well, wouldn't it be before he transitioned, you're saying?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Before he transitioned. Was she
unbelievable, Sid. Well, this is part of our new DEI initiative, anti-DEI initiative. We're not properly gendering anyone anymore.
But also, Buck himself is kind of like conservative, right? And always dunks on those people who worry about pronouns too much. So I don't.
Buck Angel is totally like in the same kind of spaces like Barry Weiss. Like he's one of the good ones that they accept because he's also very against trans youth.
He doesn't have the woke mind virus, Rob.
Exactly.
And he also says transsexual like relentlessly.
Old school.
Anyone who doesn't like transsexual, F you and all that.
Could I see what Buck looks like?
Oh yeah, I was
looks like Ron Swanson a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But like a more man like cut up.
Did this person used to do adult film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Something? Okay, I've seen him in some documentary, so I think I'm like vaguely aware of this person. Okay.
Yeah, so he started an adult film, and then transitioned into a political commentary.
So many transitions in his life. Constantly.
Oh man, he even has the corny "sick of it all" dragon tattoos.
Rob, would you?
No.
Why not? Too old?
He's not my type. I don't like gingers.
He's bald. What are you talking about, ginger?
But it's the skin tone.
I remind you of Sean too much.
I like Sean. Well, but like the archetype,
like a more masculine Sean.
He did. I mean, I'm not really attracted to the fair skinned male. Like the skin tone is kind of not. I'm not into it. I like a more caramel tone. I like a little melanin in my men.
All right.
I don't know what it is. It's only but again, we're not talking about this anymore. This is a new leaf. This is a Trump world. But so Keith Caputo went on Buck Angel's podcast, and Blabbermouth did a whole.
It's called The Buck Stops Here. Is that the name of the podcast? Please tell me that's.
I think it's just called the Buck Angel podcast.
Fuck off.
Could you read Dusty's comment there? This guy was in right. This guy was in Right to Censor.
Oh yeah. He thinks he's pro wrestler Bull Buchanan is the. Yeah, let me pull up a photo of this pro wrestler.
I forgot that Bull was he in Right to Censor, right?
Yeah, he was. That's
I forgot
accurate.
about that.
Yeah, this is him in Right to Censor.
I can sort of see it, I guess.
He somehow has more hair than Bull Buchanan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a rough look. He looks like my super.
Yeah, look like
he definitely looks like someone that works at a Polish deli.
Yeah.
I told you we're out of bigos.
Oh, God damn it.
So this is very, very weird. This is kind of weird too. The choices here. So, Blabbermouth wrote this article about. I guess I'm going to call him Keith Caputo.
Yeah, that's what
right because
he called, I guess.
He said that's what he's going by now. But like when Blabbermouth covered the story, they referred to Keith still as Mina, and so why did they decide to still like the photo they use? It looks like he's presenting as Keith.
Yeah,
like this is a screenshot from the podcast, but anyway,
it also looks like his head was photoshopped onto a much smaller body.
Well, he always had that issue. He always had that like overgrown baby look.
Did you ever like Life of Agony? Either of
I
you?
love that
Really?
album, River Runs Red. I actually just listened to it this week. It's
Everybody
so great.
in high school loved that album. I tried, and the vocals, I just couldn't. And even the music, like none of it worked for me, really.
Oh, I really, really like it. I really connect with it.
All the kids who like Typo Negative liked Life of Agony, and I just
there you go. I like Typo.
It was not my vibe on any level.
I was at the gym as soon as the Life of Agony album. Well, I have to say that album, it's not a full-on banger. It falls off a cliff after a few tracks, but the first few tracks are very strong.
A good EP, you're saying?
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, what can I follow this up with? And I went right to Typo Negative. So it's funny that you say that.
A lot of my friends in Brooklyn liked Life of Agony because they were just hanging around all the time. Like I used to hang out in the studio with some of my friends that had.
Was it Fast Lane?
Fast Lane was not the one I'm talking about.
Ace London.
Ace London was the other one. That's on the Quentin Road over there.
Uh-huh.
And they were always walking in and out. They were like the big stars on there, and they had their photos on the wall and everything. A lot of people, and Biohazard was the other one. You see
Typo Negative. I remember when me and Lonnie had our band for a little while, we booked some studio time at that place, and there were every studio had like,
or the other one.
Whichever one was the one that Typo Negative had all their shit at, because every time, and I would always like open their gig boxes and throw my food waste in there, just because I didn't like them. It's like they just leave.
Why
didn't
here. You like them?
Because I think they suck. I don't know. It's just not my vibe. And so I thought it was a funny, rebellious punk rock act to leave my Wise potato chip wrappers in their drum cases.
You showed them. What if that's why
Peter Steele opened his bass thing and went, whoa, 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 whoa.
If you ever did that to Life of Agony, that might have been why they were having all these problems.
That was bullying.
No.
Psychologically scarred Keith / Mina.
I don't think maybe they didn't have good enough branding on their touring equipment that I didn't know whose it was, but the Typo they had the logo on all of the cases, so very easy to identify. Go on.
But yeah, so this is what he looked like. This is the podcast interview so I don't understand why the Blabbermouth article had him gendered as a woman, but all right. Let's see.
Should we demand a retraction? Do you think if we demanded a Blabbermouth retraction, they would do it or no?
And it's like if truly confused on the gender, maybe what we should be using is the pronoun they, because we can't say one. It's all it gets a little.
But they still would have had to use a name,
right? Yeah. So let's see. The podcast I guess the podcast refers to the vocalist as Mina Caputo, the headline of the podcast.
Just legally haven't changed their name back.
So I take it back, Blabbermouth. If the podcast refers to them as Mina, you're clear.
Good thing we cleared that up.
But it is kind of crazy because it's like it's very sad, I want to say, because clearly Caputo is someone who is going through stuff and went through stuff their entire lives.
I mean, the band was called Life of Agony.
Should have been a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole album is just the vocals are all about how misunderstood and oppressed the lead character of the River Runs Red universe feels. So
it's a universe?
It's an animated.
Yeah, it's a whole cinematic universe with Typo and Biohazard. Anthrax is in the multiverse.
Onyx comes in once in a while.
Yeah.
This fucking Marvel? What the fuck?
But I wanted to add to your point, Sid. It's so true. Like, if you had a modicum of fame, you were treated as a god in these rehearsal studios. That's Jimmy. He fucking taxed for Typo on the last tour. Yo, what was that like? What was it like hanging out with Peter, bro? What was it? It was just like, all right, you gotta
just go around the corner. Peter's hanging out. You could ask him.
Yeah,
go hang out with him yourself.
Yeah, go find his car. It's very easy to spot on the avenue. You literally cannot miss it.
It's got a big hole cut out in the roof so he can put his head through when he drives to work. And gets in the school bus. Can you make an AI picture of Peter Steele driving a tiny car with his head sticking out of the roof?
This is Peter Steele's car. How could you have missed it? You could have just waited and hung out until he went and got it. So he had a license on it. It's nice.
Oh,
Good
beautiful.
stuff. Good stuff. Oh, auto repair with Peter Steele. But yeah, so it's just disappointing that Mina's now saying because they had a poor experience with the hormones, like they think that like nobody should do it or whatever, you know. It's like, well, it didn't work for you, but I don't know. Like there's here, like here's a line in the
Rob, I
interview.
generated the image Darren wanted. If you want to
Oh, thank you.
share it.
Well, the line. Well, let me just quickly say the line that he says. I felt more gender anxiety and depression while being on hormone therapy. I thought I was doing myself a service, but after all these years, I was torturing myself. And before that, he said he had migraine headaches. My libido was robbed from me. I'm a very sexual person.
I don't know that about, you.
Just like Craig Weiss.
And this part, what people don't realize is the gender dysphoria in a lot of people later on in life, it works itself out.
Oh, good.
And the white coats, the therapist, the clinician, they're saying, I apologize if I'm with the gender, my gender issues here, but they're saying essentially that gender dysphoria is kind of this thing that big pharma is pushing to get people on hormones to make money or whatever, which I'm just like, okay, come on.
It seems like I'm sure there's examples of anything you want to come up with, and it seems like the vast majority of people, the gender affirming care works for them, and it improves their life.
Yes, and there's
nothing's ever going to be 100%, and obviously
there's side effects to any treatment.
Yeah. And if you've got other like mental issues going on that complicate stuff, like everybody's case is different. It didn't work for Keith/Mina. All right. Doesn't mean your case is the one that everybody should be following and you're a proof of any larger theory.
Yeah. Go back to delivering pizzas in Marine Park. How about that? They don't care what your gender is.
Yeah.
This is what Peter Steele would look like delivering pizzas.
It's so weird. He's through the windshield.
Well, he's Peter Steele.
I mean,
he's got a Peter Steele size cutout in the windshield.
And apparently but you can't see the cut. I think he just threw it like he's an interdimensional being. And then there's like the steering wheel's exactly in the center of the dashboard too. What is this? It's like a child's like pedal toy.
It's like a big wheel, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
He's
god.
so happy. That's where this fails the most. Forget the steering wheel right in the middle. It's Peter Steele not scowling.
Well, he's doing what he loves, Darren.
Yeah, that's true. Is that like Avenue O and 29th Street or something?
He's drag racing on Nostrand Avenue right now.
There's not that many trees on Nostrand Avenue, Rob. What are you talking about?
The wind whipping his hair back.
Oh, here I tried to do a photo of Peter Steele in a Volkswagen buggy, but it looks like he's just in a hearse.
Oh my god, it's like a Monsters outtake.
That's the AI knows. Can't put him in no buggy.
Could you do, Rob? Could we do Peter Steele enjoying kosher pizza?
No.
With Anne Frank.
The AI is error 404 not found. Pizza cannot be kosher.
I was at a comedy show yesterday and one of the comedians referenced Anne Frank and I was fucking delighted.
Oh, what was the joke?
She was talking about how there's no closet space in apartments in New York City, and imagine if the Nazis came for Anne Frank and she lived in a New York apartment. She'd have nowhere to hide.
Yeah. Sad.
It's great.
Look at that. Wait.
That's a great premise.
Wait, they're still in the car?
They stole the tray and brought it to the car.
Yeah, why is he still in the car?
Oh, that's a big bug with Grok or whatever.
It remembers
Twitter.
your previous requests.
Yeah, it's every prompt is like, like it.
Is he smelling the pizza?
Look at this
You
one.
forgot what orifice.
The one you were just highlighting, Rob, is great because he's not sharing with her, and she's upset.
She's upset.
This greedy motherfucker.
And then
Everything I've been through, and he won't give me a fucking. Wait a minute, that's not kosher pizza. It's got pepperoni on it. What the fuck?
It could be beef pepperoni. It could be. Oh wait, it's still not kosher.
Yeah, right.
Oh no.
AI image generator is anti-Semitic.
It's got to be vegan pepperoni.
Oh, okay.
Well, look at this one. They're both angry. The next one to the right, she's happy. No, to the right, she's happy. He's angry. And then
He's upset. Why do you get pepperoni? I want kosher.
He turned into an old Jew.
Here he's like inhaling it, like literally he's snorting the pizza for some reason. And Frank in the background looks sort of foxy, though. I like that outfit they have.
My favorite is always the suggestion. Do we want them to do another take in a 1950s diner or with Marilyn?
With Marilyn. With Marilyn.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Dusty Rhodes Muffler says this looks like an A24 film. Oh, my God.
There's Marilyn.
Oh, Peter Steele's so happy.
Well, wouldn't
He
you
loves.
I like how including Marilyn makes Anne Frank hotter somehow. Also,
Oh, this is such a what a nice family photo.
what is that hat he's wearing? He would never wear that. Is he the Undertaker? Is he the casual?
Although it's like, why is Marilyn Monroe like the age of Anne Frank in this?
Why not? She also sort of looks like the Joker.
They're saying he's a groomer.
Look, his head is poking out here. Look, this is more accurate. You
Very
can
strange.
kind of.
And so,
Well,
every
we
time
just
every time
we just
do
caused
this,
another drought in LA because of this
Oh, no.
this segment.
It makes me more confident that AI will not take us over whenever we do one of these.
Yeah.
I don't know because they're getting better. Like the way it's developed so much in the time, like just how quickly these render compared to before. Like
But
even a
they're
few months
shitty.
ago when you were like, yeah, but so the big test is Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Why is that?
What?
There was this video when these AI things were first being formed, and someone just put in a prompt of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it looked terrible. It looked completely unreal. So now, a year later, they once again did the prompt Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it's not quite there, but it's far more believable. Like here, so here they are side by side.
Oh.
So obviously you could tell which one is which.
Oh.
But these are
that's
also just the new one looks unnecessarily horny. I don't know. It's weird how he's sucking it down. But
I'd contend that the first one doesn't look horny enough.
Oh. That's right.
Dusty Rhodes Muffler has a question. What's the difference between Grok and the other AI generated stuff?
it's just different companies, different machine engines.
Does Grok do like video stuff like what you just showed us also, or is it only
No,
image?
it's only images and text prompts. It's quite limited. But that's the thing. It's like they've now segmented into all these different apps. You know, like ChatGPT has basically an assistant, like basically like that movie Her, where it'll talk back to you, and you know, you create kind of like a Tamagotchi essentially, because the more you talk to it, the more it remembers and personalizes towards your needs.
The first Will Smith looks like Tony Wilbon, I feel like.
Who is Tony Wilbon?
Oh, was it Mike Wilbon?
Oh, from Pardon the Interruption?
Yeah.
I could sort of see it.
But what if the developers all got together and just focused all their resources on making a good Will Smith eating spaghetti video to fool everybody, and like this is the only thing it does
It's
correctly?
possible.
Well, now you're starting to see on Twitter people posting these quote unquote short films, and they're being mocked, I will say, because it's like, oh, I've spent the
Take
last
this off,
3
by the way, please.
I've spent the last 3 weeks writing prompts, and here's this 40-second short film that I made. And it's like, all they did was just sit at a thing like we are, just a shot of this, now a shot of this, now a shot of this, and then they compiled it. Yeah. There was that Coca-Cola commercial that was all AI this Christmas, which I thought was awful.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have guessed necessarily. I would have just assumed it was another generic ass soda commercial. I don't know why they needed to tell us that it was AI.
Yeah,
that was the weird
look at how much money we saved. Well, yeah, I'm sure who told you was the AI company hired to do it, because they want the publicity. Because I'm sure it costs them far less money than paying fucking, CG animators.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It kind of reminds me of The Rock going on the WWE show and saying, "We made the most money ever in history tonight." But
this is our largest gate ever. And the crowd cheers, and it's like, you're cheering being ripped off? We charged the most money we've ever charged for a show this size, and you idiots fell for it. Cheer for yourselves.
Rocky. At least he didn't get booed like Hulk Hogan.
Well.
Oh, what a beautiful sight. Something that we've been enjoying all week long, which is Hulk Hogan came out on WWE TV this past week. It was one of the first times in a while, and he hasn't been getting the best reactions lately when coming out to the ring. And here he was in LA. I guess this is sorry, I had a little brain shutdown.
This Rob AI we're using is not that great yet.
Need to reboot.
Yeah, don't make me eat spaghetti. This is the first WWE appearance he has made since going full MAGA.
And this is their first Netflix episode, correct?
This is the first episode on Netflix. It was in LA at the Intuit Dome.
Are we sure this is not the reason that the fire started somehow? This is the coincidence?
This dry ass body. He's just like walking Tinder.
Well, what's interesting, so he now has this fucking awful beer that WWE is now accepted as a sponsor for Raw. Every week it's going to be on the fucking mats on the wrestling ring. And they're now they bought into the company too. So now they get a share of his profits. It's so disgusting.
Yeah. I was listening to Jim Cornette talk about this, and he just goes, "What? Who the fuck would drink this fucking beer? What does it turn you into a fucking liar?"
So he comes out with Jimmy Hart. Poor Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart is
Jimmy Hart by now?
80.
He's waving the American flag. So, I want to show the footage, but I feel if we do,
81.
it'll get copyright.
Christ. Yeah.
It'll get copyright stricken right away. So I'm not gonna. But
play with no sound. Let's see how.
No, even just the video. I feel
okay.
Maybe there's like a fan.
Can you do an AI generated video version of it?
Oh well, here's a fan cam. A fan right in the last row that was able to.
It's just the Will Smith clip again.
So what I thought was interesting is they played Real American, which is his entrance theme, right. And when they first played the first few riffs, the crowd kind of cheered, like, "Oh, we recognize this!" But then as soon as the music faded, you just heard a wave of boos. It was phenomenal.
People like the song and hate the wrestling.
Yeah.
Right.
The boos were so apparent that the Netflix closed captioning even acknowledged it had in parentheses, in brackets rather, crowd booing. It was so good. That was the best part of it.
I want to I want to
Okay.
preface this by saying that he comes out and does. Remember that thing we watched where he went on Fox or something, and he said, "I've had many good tag team partners over the year, brother. The Macho Man, ooh yeah!" Like he tries to do that exact same rap. He didn't even write anything new, but he gets so thrown by getting booed that he fucks it up.
Yeah, I will say he's definitely a little thrown, but he powered through it.
He did power through it.
And
He no-sold the
facially,
booing?
yeah, he no-sold it. Facially, you couldn't tell that he was shook. You could tell only because we are so obsessed with hating him that we've heard the spiel so much that we knew he fucked it up. But if we didn't, it would be like, oh, it's just him being an old man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, he is a professional. But in the end, like, what do you expect? Yeah. All right, so here's some of it. If you're not a wrestling obsessive.
Jimmy waving this poor flag like weighs more than him.
Look, he can barely walk too.
Is one of his legs longer than the other?
Oh, it might. He had a lot of hip surgery, so it might.
Look, he can't even lift his arm to do the ear thing. He has to lean down to get to his arm.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. You're right. Yeah, he has such a hunch. He has a hunchback now. He can't stand straight. It looks like. Also, he's so skinny. It's so jarring to see him like this because he was so ballooned up all the time. Listen to this! I love it!
Wow, it's louder on this fan cam than it was on the broadcast. Way louder. I wonder if they somehow digitally altered the sound when it was coming through.
Well, they could have probably, they probably lowered the audience sound a little bit. Two people chanting Hogan.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Hart, one of them.
Boo! I love it! I love that. You have been my greatest tag team partner to the fans because you've stuck with me through all the hard times.
You suck. Fuck off. They just threw it through the barbershop window.
It's even louder.
See, so now there's booing here. I don't think they're booing the Macho Man. I think they're finally doing what we do, which is like, fuck you, don't you dare invoke the name of the great Macho Man Randy Savage to sell your crappy beer. That was the boo, in my opinion.
It's so hard to fuck up a Macho Man impression, but he does it. You know,
he's doing Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Randy Savage doesn't go ooh yeah. That's the most lazy, easy way to do a fucking impression. It's so bad. Ooh, fuck Netflix! Ooh! We got them to boo Netflix.
All the Netflix executives are in the front row being like, what the fuck is going on?
Outside the
love
Netflix
it.
building, they're all jumping and hitting the pavement.
Jesus Christ.
4 Netflix
Awkward.
CEOs just killed themselves.
Oh, I'm glad he got to do his pose down.
Yeah, pose down. It's moving
This
each
5-inch
arm like
biceps.
3 millimeters.
I'm amazed that Jimmy Hart could pick up that flag and wave it like that at his age.
Jimmy looks in better shape than fucking Hulk right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's like 10 years older than Hulk Hogan.
Wild.
I'm guessing.
Love it.
Another icon goes by the wayside. You think like he'll never be back to do anything, right? Like this is the last. This has to be the last.
I think they just
No, he's
pick
back.
the locations better going
Well-
forward. Like if it's in a red state, I think he'll be fine.
I don't
Next
know,
week.
man.
next week is Saturday night's main event.
I-
Again, which is their new quarterly NBC specials. And Hulk Hogan is advertised for it. He's been in the commercials since Raw. It's in San Antonio.
Okay.
So it's in a purplish.
San Antonio's reddish. I mean, bluish for Texas.
It's purple. I would say it's purple.
I don't think this has any or very little to do with like the Undertaker came out, super MAGA dork, and he got massively cheered. Like, so many of these guys are Republicans.
Do they heel turn him and just make him like
possibly?
That was a rumor.
I think it's just a lifetime of him being a fucking asshole and like being a shithead to everybody that these crowds love. Like everyone he's name referencing hated him. Yeah. You know, like he's just the people are fucking, and then he's hawking his stupid beer. Like nobody wants to see ads on their fucking wrestling. WWE already bombards you with ads all the time. It's like, oh, here's my beer. It's like taken so cynically.
And also, like, as the years go on, there's fewer and fewer people left who remember a time when Hulk Hogan didn't suck.
Yeah, it's true.
A great point, because look, 25 years ago he came back to or 22 years ago he came back to do his nostalgia run, and already it was an outdated thing. Right. So in this century, it's been already out there. Like his act hasn't changed at all. So it's like, who remembers?
It's brutal. This stupid watery
we'll
beer
see.
No one's gonna drink.
Dusty Rhodes makes a good point. Jesse Ventura and Hulk are going to be on the same show.
Time to organize.
Ventura was pretty good on main event. He was got some names wrong, but he still had that sharp charm of his.
He sounded like an older guy that is not on top of his game, but he was still great.
But yeah, so with the meta thing, I wanted to mention the reason I'm talking about this is like all of a sudden, Mark Zuckerberg this week he's going through this rebrand. Mm-hmm. You know, at first I was on board because of the jiu-jitsu and all.
What? Wait, what's the jiu-jitsu again? What's this?
He does jiu-jitsu and MMA now.
Oh,
he's an active practitioner.
So you're on board with literally anyone who does MMA, even they could be the worst person.
That's not what I said.
You said you're on board.
I'm on board with people practicing jiu-jitsu and finding jiu-jitsu as their meditation.
But you said you were on board with the rebranding of Meta because
I said I'm not on board with the rebranding of Meta. I thought at first I was saying at first I was into this new way, like he's doing the jiu-jitsu. He started roasting Elon Musk. Remember there was that moment where they were like, let's do a fight in an MMA ring.
No,
and Zuckerberg's like, I'm down, bitch. Let's go. Well, he kept egging it on. But anyway, just lately, then it just went a little overboard is what I'm saying now. He started growing his hair out. He changed his clothing. And it's very clearly like workshopped in a boardroom, with like a $1 million PR firm that did like 6 weeks of studies and compiled like an 80-page report on what his new look should be.
Yeah.
And then now he's, because of this incoming administration, this let's say corporate friendly administration, he's starting to see that he can get a lot of things passed that previous administrations would not allow, like stuff like anti-copyright protection for AI generation, things like that, which the government would not go for. Now with this new Trump administration, he sees a avenue to get this stuff passed. All he has to do is placate them. So now this week they announced they've changed their hateful conduct policy on the site, where you can now throw around homophobic phrases without being banned or getting reprimanded in some way. Not that these systems were good before, but you could literally now say that gay people are mentally ill.
Well,
and it's fine.
They replaced it with community notes, which is what they have on Twitter. So Twitter. So now,
that's two separate things. Yeah, they got rid of all of their fact checkers, And now it's community notes.
This, I think, is a good thing. I think that's an upgrade because having like 8 people, the whole fact checking thing is like a industry. It's like an industry of like, people.
It's like the TSA.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that makes it likely for like more misinformation to be spread of a certain direction.
That I had a indifferent opinion about. The regressing on the hateful policies is crazy, and then there's all this other stuff that came out on like they're no longer going to be having DEI hiring policies. They're not going to try to have like a certain amount of women employed. They've taken out tampons out of the men's bathrooms.
That one was stupid.
Which, in what sense?
That was stupid.
Like having them in there to begin with? Focusing on it. I agree.
Are you trying to? What are you trying to make me into? Like, fucking
I just wanted to make sure. I think it's this. I think getting upset over tampons in the men's room is the silliest thing. It's just like a little politeness for trans men. If they happen to be having a little situation, here you go. What's the big deal?
And it's $1 billion company. Like, who the fuck? Like, even if you're the most anti-trans person, who gives a shit if who's it hurting if there's a fucking
how is it affecting your life? Like, if you're a fucking bigot man using the bathroom and you see those tampons, like, how is it affecting your life in any way?
I can't
other than you be like, this is ridiculous. This is the men's room. Men's can't have periods. But so I thought that was egregious. But the most egregious thing that they did is in Messenger, which is their standalone chat app. They, in your chat window, you can set a theme for the window, like a background. And there was a category of gay and trans backgrounds, and they've removed them. That's it. You can't be gay on Messenger.
Can't tell anyone you're gay. Don't ask.
Can't tell anyone. Well, like I said, you can only be a Peter Thiel gay now.
Oh well.
Or like a Roy Cohn gay.
It was a good run, Rob.
Sorry, Rob.
I mean, I'm used to it. I was 10 years ahead of my time. I was a Roy Cohn gay for quite a while. And then I was like, no. Then all these DEI initiatives in the Biden administration made it safe for me.
Yeah. You don't want that.
To
you want to live on the edge.
Peddle my propaganda.
What self-respecting gay is using Facebook Messenger? Come on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anyone under 80? Come on, give me a break.
Decay probably is like the last one.
It really is. Facebook Messenger is the only people I communicate with on there are people who I haven't talked to in 20 years otherwise. Like that's their only means to communicate with me because I'm not friends with them on Instagram or any other, and they don't have my email.
Any of them a gay?
A gay. No, the gays I still keep in touch.
Still Anselmo on there?
Yeah, he's on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You messaged with him, Rob? Have you apologized to him?
Apologize?
Well, now that everything he said is okay.
Oh, you're right.
You gotta apologize. That's part of this.
Everything he said is gay.
Now we have to refer to him as white man.
Okay.
Yeah. What does Mike Francesa think of DEI?
I think he's probably against it.
Oh, who cares?
Oh, thank you.
Like here's what Zuck currently looks like. We don't have to, but like, get out of here! It's fucking ridiculous. You look like fucking one of the Paul brothers.
Every time I see him, it's just Shlomo. It's just taller Shlomo. He has the same fucking face as Shlomo.
Oh yeah.
I think it's wild that like he went on the Joe Rogan podcast this week. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I did not.
And like he was saying, all of a sudden
Zuckerberg
now
did?
he's like
Shlomo went on
yeah.
the. Oh,
Not
Shlomo.
Shlomo, listen.
JOEROGAN.
No.
Wait.
Zuckerberg-
Shlomo, do you like vaccines?
No.
So that's what. So the topic was about how he was like, "Oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim." You know, when with the vaccine, the Biden administration tried to suppress all of this anti-vaccine speech. When it's like, didn't the vaccine start under the Trump administration? We were right. Like it took a while. The vaccine was going already for a good 6 months before Biden got into office.
Well, I think what he would argue is that I'm not taking sides, but I think
Yeah.
saying like the Biden administration took over, and if you remember, I feel like the news was openly saying when Trump was president, these vaccines are terrible. I wouldn't trust it. If you know,
Well, it was yeah. Like I remember Kamala saying something like that. Yeah.
Right. And then it shifted. I mean, a lot of the talking heads were doing that. And then suddenly when Biden took over, same vaccine, all of a sudden, now it's great.
Right. But so basically he was like, oh, this previous administration put shackles on me, but now I'm free. Now I could be the real me, which is like, fuck off. Get out of here. I'm curious if these Trump heads are going to buy it or they're going to, because I saw something about how like Dave Portnoy, who runs Barstool Sports, kind of pushed back like, oh, so this dipshit cowered to the Biden administration and did take down all of that stuff when they asked him to. And now that he's gone, he's like, oh, I'm a victim. Like, fuck off. You're just going to do
whatever the administration is. He's going to cower to them. That's
yeah.
There's nothing more to it.
That's the bottom line of this whole story. It's like, well, why you run this $1 billion company? Why'd you just do whatever they said? Tell them to fuck off.
Right.
I don't doubt that happened. I'm just saying, like, you caved in immediately.
Because he's just always going to do what's better for profits. He's whatever way the wind is blowing, that's what he's going to do. That's all.
Loser.
He doesn't exist for any other reason than to make money. That's it. He didn't start Facebook to make the world a better place. He's like, this is how I can make a few dollars. Cool.
$1 billion.
What?
Yeah.
I would.
It'll be interesting to see how other companies react. Well, also, I think it's funny, people. There was a moment where like, oh, I got to get off Twitter. It's too much of a Nazi hellhole. I can't be on Twitter anymore. I'm going to be on Instagram. That isn't like a Nazi corporate hellhole. Now where are they going to go? Oh, let's go to Blue Sky. Oh wait, who's an investor in Blue Sky? Well, Blue Sky is from Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. But I do believe that Peter Thiel is an investor in Blue Sky. It's like you can't get away from it. It's all Silicon Valley.
And Rob and I have
all
talked
rich
about
people
that.
like.
Yeah, exactly. There's no war but class war.
I think
No
Rob
culture war, only class war.
Talked about this off the air, but like I worry about like.
I worry. Sorry,
I'm a Jew. I worry. I think like the reason, to the extent that the world is more progressive than it was before, it's because these people clashed, and like there are more progressive thinking people than racist people, because you get together and these people say dumb things and you shame them. So I think if you just take these things out of the ecosystem completely and you just go, this all these people have to be over here shielded from, bad words and stuff. I think that you create an echo chamber over there too, where the people are now feel justified and righteous in being shitty and racist, rather than integrating them into a discussion where they get shamed for being idiots. So I'm against that type of thing. Like I think people should be free to say stupid ass shit, and we should just counter it by organically getting together and organically taking that out of society, so that there's social pressure not to do.
But there's been somebody saying stupid shit now for a good 12 years, and his followers say stupid shit, and people aren't saying, hey, that's stupid shit. But it sounds like the megaphone of the people saying stupid shit is louder than the one of the progressives being like, hey, these people are wrong.
I think that's because of like a heavy-handed like censoring of it. I think that's, people feel like they're whether it's true or not, there's a perception that like regressive ideas are not welcome in such and such a space, and they feel like more emboldened to do that. I think the social pressure when I was a kid, not really when I was a kid, more in my 20s and 30s, like with the dawning of the internet and all that. I think it was a much more social pressure on people to like not say the N-word, not do, not say have backwards conservative opinions. You were ridiculed in the public space. Now there's a separate artificially created space where that's acceptable to say. And that's split off because, of like hard censorship. I think like when you have an uncensored free discussion forum, smarter, like better ideas win out like naturally. And we're breaking that. We're breaking that system.
So you're saying we should start saying the N-word again?
No, I'm saying people should push back against that. People should be. I believe in free speech, even if it's shitty speech.
No, I hear, but like to your point, if people push back, isn't the end point of that this ultra form of censorship that then, loops the cycle back around and gets us to where we are now?
I don't follow you. What do you mean?
You're saying when you were younger, there was a much freer speech, and because of that, people were less likely to say messed up things. I think
people felt shame saying bad things, much more than they do now.
Right. So then it got taken to an extreme where it just became so stiff that it looped back around. No, like
I think there's a big.
What changed?
It's supposed to be a comedy show, so I don't want to bog this down too much. But I think what changed is that it became an institutional like banhammer that says, this is unacceptable on our platform, as opposed to where it would be like, oh, you can say this, but you're gonna get fucking dunked on because you're living in 1920. I think those two things have very different outcomes.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it still regular users that are reporting these accounts to get censored? So it's still people shutting them down, just with a different tool.
I think it's different when it comes from like the man, then you're creating a whole mass of people who just want to go and either go. It pushes them more into their preconceived opinions, and they get more intense about it, or they go split off completely into a new platform with like, hey, this is our encampment now.
But social media didn't really exist. Like in the time when you said people were too embarrassed to say shitty stuff, it was like, where were they saying it? You know what I mean? Like there wasn't a Twitter to post that stuff on.
Well, Twitter's been around since like 2005, right?
Has it been that long?
I think so, yeah. But anyway, beside the point, discussion forums and stuff like that. I feel like these are all microcosms of social media. Like they're just with less reach.
Yeah.
But I think it works the same. I think I'm wary of getting into a situation where it's like certain topics are off limits. I'm just old school in that way. I think the only way you push society to the left is like you discuss shit. So many leftists are like, I was once like a MAGA dork, and I stumbled into a leftist discussion somewhere, either online or in real life, and now I understand what an idiot I was. Like, you don't get that if you split life into this culture war on every single topic. Like, I'm not a fan of that. I think most people that I think have shitty opinions, most people, not throwing a blanket over everybody. Most of them are good people that are really badly misinformed. And they can
so there was this whole push from Democratic commentators after the election about like, it's time to let go of the Trump supporters in your life. Don't go to Thanksgiving dinner with your. Did you not see this? Really? No. Like, I felt like this was all over.
I don't
liberal
look at
media.
Those kind of accounts because they're fucking stupid to begin
with. But you watch the news all the time. You have the news on all day.
I watch local news. I don't watch national news.
I mean, local. I would argue local news is probably worse.
Rob,
okay.
I am telling you, the only place I see anything like this ever is when you link me. That's the only way.
Well, I will tell you, there was a push from talking heads and maybe some politicians. I'm not sure. I can't think of but definitely like Joy Reid from MSNBC for sure. Right. And like people like that.
I think, sorry, go ahead, Darren. I think Kamala Harris said something to that effect. She wouldn't do it as forcefully as Joy Reid did.
But they were like, don't go home for Thanksgiving if your parents voted for Trump. They're voting against your whatever. It's like blah blah
Your way of
blah.
life.
Yeah, your way. They're gonna take away your rights. They think they could just take away your rights and then sit across the dinner table from you. How dare they? Ah, these are evil people, right? And then this week was the fucking Carter funeral. And who's chumming it up with Donald Trump than Mr. Resistance himself, Barry Obama?
Yeah.
I
Hussein.
saw what was
Barack
so
Hussein
funny. Barry Hussein Obama. I saw on Twitter there was a trending topic that was poor Obama.
Hitler? Oh,
No, it was poor Obama. And the thing, like, poor Obama has to sit next to Trump during this funeral because everyone was seated based on like how they, the order they were president. Yeah. So it was like Clinton, then Bush, Obama, Trump, and like but then like they go to the videotape of them sitting there at the funeral, and this is literally them. They're having the time of their life. They're chumming it up. Look at this. Barack Obama is laughing at literally Hitler. This guy is literally Hitler, and he's laughing at him. What's going on? This guy is going to ruin our way of life, and Barack Obama is laughing at him. How can this be?
I said I was going to end democracy. I'm going to do it next Tuesday. That's a good one, Don.
Have we got people doing lip reading yet on what exactly was being said?
I can't wait.
Because it's pretty clear, like their mouths are pretty clear here. Like somebody I feel like should have been able to figure this out by now.
Yeah.
And people were like,
there was another angle. I don't know if it was of that exact exchange, but it was of another angle where you also see Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I'm getting to it,
when
baby.
Obama's laughing, she looks back like super annoyed.
Yes. There's this one moment that they captured. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Where she looks back and Obama stops talking. Look, he sees her looking and he stops talking and he starts talking again. This was like a reality show reunion show, like the Real Housewives or something, where all the cast members get together and all the drama from the entire season just explodes in one location.
Do you think the two of them were just talking about how lame Kamala Harris is?
Yeah,
I
bet.
Doesn't like her either.
He definitely doesn't.
I was talking to Rob about this, and Hillary Clinton is like 3 feet away from them too. So it's like maybe they're just both dunking on her, and then they both beat her in an election.
I do love how he stops talking when she looks back. He's like, "Oh, I can't let her hear me. I can't let her hear me talking to Donald."
Even Obama, the guy that a lot of people consider to be the last good president, he has to stop when she turns her Karen face on him. I'm very sorry that Jimmy Carter died, but he did live to 100. He had a great life, and he is providing some of the best Schadenfreude this week by his funeral.
Yeah, this has been such. So there was a part, like here we are criticizing Obama. He did all these speeches shaming black men if they don't get out and vote against Trump, that they're doing a disservice to the women in their lives.
He turned into Bill Cosby, basically.
And so I was, like he's getting heat for talking to Trump. But then I was wondering, like Trump's whole thing, like when he first rose to prominence, was attacking Obama and how Obama is evil. Obama's the cause of all our problems. So I wondered, like, will MAGA people be mad at Trump for chumming it up with Obama?
Mad at Trump?
I saw a few of them.
Well, there were MAGA people that were upset about the whole H-1B immigration thing that happened a week or two ago.
Yeah. They throw their own under the bus when they don't go. They're more ideological, whereas libs will just be like, whatever happens, they'll make some kind of backward, like retroactive explanation for it. In my experience. I saw Trump fans like making the same accusations. Like, why are you being chummy with this guy? He's like devil incarnate. He wasn't born in the United States. Like, what are you doing?
Well, exactly. Like, what did that would be?
United States, and Trump is chummy with him.
But so Trump was actually, quote unquote, confronted about this later in the afternoon. After post funeral, he had a meeting with Republican governors. He was asked about this, Let me play the
Off
clip.
the top, you mentioned the Carter funeral today. What were you talking to Barack Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other.
Boy, they look like two people that like each other.
We have little different philosophies, right?
Hold on.
And we probably do.
We probably do like each other.
We have little different philosophies, right? But we probably do. I don't know. We just got along. But I got along with just about everybody on that. We met
Just not
backstage,
Karen
as you know,
Pence. That's
before
the
we
only person that
went on.
gave him any.
And I thought it was a
shade.
beautiful
Bush.
service. But we all got along very well, which is good.
I called this. I want to say on this show when they all started kissing Bush's ass like 4 years ago because he came out against around 2020 he came out against Trump or whatever. I said, you just wait. In like 8 to 10 years, they're gonna be kissing Trump's ass because the next like JD Vance or somebody I don't know who it was at the time is going to be the next Hitler. And they're going to say, listen, Trump was a wacky guy. He's a little crazy, but I mean, at least he loved this country and blah, blah, blah. He's going to be supporting the Democratic nominee again. The groundwork is being laid. Here it is. He's laughing with Obama. It's the first step. It's coming.
The only thing
I have to say, we have a few.
Trump's
Oh, go ahead.
age, and he might not
Okay.
live long
Right.
enough to do that. But otherwise, it's very possible.
gonna
They'll
live to
still
100.
do it posthumously. They'll still say, at least he wasn't like this guy.
Yeah, he'll give him the
Melania
they'll give him the
was
Reagan
never
treatment.
used him.
Right.
I have to say, Trump gave the perfect answer because, as always, what does Trump do? He just leans into it. He's like, I guess we were pretty friendly, huh, guys?
I guess so.
What a perfect answer. I'm constantly impressed with the Am I being charmed by Donald Trump? Like I'm a little taken aback.
Don't be
You're
hard
just
on
watching
yourself.
too much content, man. You need to just watch
It's
it.
not that I don't like him. I'm not saying
good
I
at one
like him or
thing.
anything.
He's good
Yeah,
at one
like
thing.
I'm impressed at what a great heel he is. That's all. Like it's a very consistent point of view.
Like he's a good president or he's a good person or anything. He's like
No.
he knows how to orate like in his dumbed down Trump way. He knows how to hit your emotional buttons or whatever.
Yeah, like he absolutely diffused the situation just by, I guess we were a little chubby red boys. Look, he likes me, and frankly, I like him too. Like whatever. Frankly, we get along.
He's a great jet skier. Great. I love that Netflix documentary. So well done. So well done.
But he's talking about Raw.
Oh, right.
Great
Believe they booed Hulk Hogan. Great American Hulk Hogan. Can't believe. Very sad.
The Barack, I'm more of a rock guy. I'm a Dwayne Johnson guy. That's what.
Now, let me be clear. You smell what Barack is cooking.
That would be funny if that's what they were talking about.
Oh, my God. Was that before or after the Netflix Raw aired?
I think
No, I think it was after.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it could've-
But they're talking about CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. It had nothing to do with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Also, it was announced this week that Amazon signed a $40 million deal with Melania Trump
Oh.
to produce a documentary about her life and her current moment. So, if you're wondering if you're a tech oligarch looking to pay off the president,
It ain't that expensive.
that's all you got to do. You just got to get Melania and be like, "Hey, you want us to make a documentary about you? We'll give you $40
Did you
million
happen to
dollars."
notice who the director is?
No, who is it?
Brett Ratner.
Oh, yes, that's right. I did. I forgot. Which I was blown away that Brett
His
Ratner's
first
doing
gig
this.
since being Me Too'd, I believe.
Yeah, because I thought he fled to Israel because he has all these sexual assault allegations against him.
Chris Jericho?
Maybe Trump was like, if you direct this, I'll make the Department of Justice
I'll
look the other
pardon you.
way.
Yeah. Oh man, Brett Ratner. Just A walking coke hangover. Jeez. That guy is constantly sweaty. That guy is the Jonah Hill character from Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh my God, it's true.
Like,
With the veneers.
yeah.
Will Kevin Spacey narrate this documentary? Just get everybody involved. Harvey Weinstein produces.
They're all living on the same block in Israel, so I'm sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Gene Simmons does the score.
Oh my God. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross passed, so Gene Simmons was the next call.
I'm liking Trent Reznor's current arc. He won a Golden Globe.
Yeah.
Him and
Very happy.
Atticus for their Challenger soundtrack, which is very good. I actually
It's
listened to it a
great.
bunch last year. Yeah.
It's the
listened to it
best
all
thing
the
about that movie, I'd say.
Oh.
The movie
I feel
was
like
whatever. but
I
the
liked it.
music was
It
tremendous.
was very horny. Darren, did
Yes.
you see Challengers?
No.
It's a fun movie. It felt like the music sometimes felt out of place, but I think that was the intention of it. The music was there to create anxiety and
and
tension.
a vibe. And even when it was out of place, it was in a better place than the movie was. So I was fine with it. There's never a moment where I like the movie more than the music. Not that it's a bad movie. It's just, I'd say overrated. And the ending I thought sucked. But the performances
I like the
were
ending.
fine.
But
Luca Guadagnino, he has a very specific thing he's going for in every movie. And
Yeah.
it's basically like, I want Rob to jerk off at least 3 times during this movie. What can I do? Let's hire Trent Reznor and then just dudes' asses and cocks. And Rob will.
Were there? I don't remember. Were there cocks?
There was a shower scene. I think there was some cocks. Maybe
Classic
not
cocks,
of the,
not a
the
few.
2 stars, but I think there were other cocks.
Oh, okay. No, that
Rob now making a note.
now I gotta look up the
Don't-
cocks.
Furiously typing.
Hold on.
Oh my god.
No, now I gotta the scene with the three-way sex scene they had. I thought was really hot. How they did the
Was it even a sex
MMF.
scene, or was it just like making out and then she leaves?
yeah, hell yeah.
That's not
I just
sexy.
liked how it started as a 3-way kiss, and then Zendaya pulls out, and then it's just the two of them furiously making out with each other. I was like, oh, this is pretty hot. Forced by action. I was thinking of Jenny at the time.
Is it forced by if she they don't realize she left
Yeah.
and she just slips out of the kiss?
Yeah.
In the sense that she forced them to make out with each other because
Initially,
they wanted
sure,
to make
fair.
out with her.
It's passive aggressive forced by.
Yeah.
Do we
it's
go with
Gen Z
Deuterino's
forced by.
suggestion of the episode title being Other Cocks?
I don't know. Deuterino, glad to see you're alive still, though.
Yes, how
made it
are
through
you?
the fire.
Imagine he's on fire while typing.
Oh my God, his dedication.
I'm currently evacuating while listening to you guys.
Make your last Photoshop for us right now.
Oh
It's
my God.
Zendaya and Peter Steele and Danzig doing forced by.
I was going to say do a Photoshop of your house before it burns down and you forget what it looked like.
Oh.
Is that too soon? I love you, Deuterino. I hope that's not.
just a
Oh,
photo
breathing
right
well. Is it in Orange? Because he lives in Orange County, right? So I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that
that's what I thought. Yeah.
danger zone?
Give it a few days.
Fair. Jesus
Are the
Christ.
fires still going on, or did they?
Yeah,
were
I
they
think
able
so.
Oh my God.
It was when I woke up. I don't know about now. Maybe they're all put out in the last 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, what's scary now though is it's the aftermath. You know, all these houses burned down, all this asbestos in the air,
Yeah.
all these fumes.
Is there a lot of asbestos? Are those houses
Yes.
that old?
Yes. Ooh, so that the Pacific Palisades, from what I gathered, is that initially it wasn't that desirable of a neighborhood to live in. It was relatively cheap in the like a generation or two before us.
Okay.
And then in our generation, the rich people started realizing like, hey, this is a great place to live. And the property values skyrocketed. And now it's completely unaffordable. And so all of these, like, you know, working class people that live there their whole lives, they're in quite a pickle right now because their entire life, you know, the worth of their life savings or whatever was in the home, and now the home is gone. So it's like, what value does the plot of land have? It's not a great situation. It's very sad. And honestly, because I'm a fucking furry freak, I feel most bad for the pets. These poor pets, these animals that lost their homes, they don't know where to go. And these wild animals like the coyotes lost their shelters.
Didn't they
They're just
possibly
roaming
also
around.
get burned in the fires if they were
Oh,
about?
I don't want to know about that.
A coyote could find one of these unhoused dogs and fucking kill it and eat it. So
I know. Well, there's all these displaced animals.
We want the coyotes to die. Fuck the coyote.
No.
Tomato.
The
I hope the coyote has no tomato.
The Iron Sheik Twitter account got a lot of action this week after the Hulk Hogan thing.
Oh, really?
Like people were just reposting old tweets of Iron Sheiks.
Oh, nice.
There's like, fuck the Hogan.
Said that he's more of a real American than Hulk Hogan is.
Hey, they're not wrong.
Or a better, I should say, a better American. They're both Americans.
Yeah. Deuterino with me on fuck the coyotes. They are savage pet mappers. Does he mean pet nappers? Okay. Yes.
Oh, does he mean like Randy Savage?
Oh, no. Be a man, coyote.
That's a plug for our Patreon.
Oh yeah. Did a listen along to Randy Savage's hip hop record.
That's right. Where he fucks the Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
I do wonder, like, if Randy Savage was alive, would he have also spoiled his goodwill? I don't think so.
No.
Because I feel like he was always lovable. And
he knew how to manage a crowd.
And I think his goodwill wasn't as much like he was an anti-hero where Hulk Hogan played up this whole all-American virtuous thing. So I think the standard for Hogan is higher than it would be for Savage anyway.
And I think also I think just the number one driving force behind this antipathy towards Hulk Hogan is him being a fucking liar. I think that's the main thing, and that combined with his shitty behavior towards all these people that the fans love, you know. So that would not be present with Randy Savage.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the next 15 years he would have been a complete asshole to everybody. I don't know.
The reason I would think no is because he was very active with like children's charities and doing all the stuff that Hogan would not do. That like Hogan would do the bare minimum of, you know,
children's charities. That just means it was a matter of time until someone accused him of diddling children.
Someone accused him of diddling one specific child.
Oh, well, there you go.
But
Stephanie McMahon.
I digress. Well, you want to mention that anagram of Stephanie McMahon?
Oh, what was the anagram?
The Macho Man penis is an anagram of Stephanie McMahon.
Really?
That's right.
The Macho Man penis. One of my favorites.
R.I.P. a legendary penis. Speaking of which, I don't remember if this was on the show last week or when we were out to dinner this week, but the Randy West came up in conversation among the three of us, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so earlier today,
I remember how it came up.
I wonder what Randy West is up to. You know, he died in September.
Oh, no.
He just fucking died. Retroactive Livecast curse.
The most basic looking porn star in history.
Heart and liver failure.
Oh no. He just looked like he worked. He looked like he worked at a Napa Auto Parts or something.
From New York originally, Randy Abrams.
Oh, from the Chosen People.
Of course.
Now that you say that, I can see it in my mind.
Well,
See
him reading a little Haftorah.
West appeared in well over 1,500 adult releases from 1977 to 2010, including 129 volumes in his flagship Up and Comers line.
He was Jenna Jameson's first scene partner.
Oh, I remember the one that stands out as probably my favorite porn parody called Backside to the Future, in which they got a real DeLorean. And that
seems like the easiest thing to acquire at that
time. But they couldn't afford to put all the other stuff on the DeLorean and make it a time machine, so they put a satellite dish for a TV thing, like just on top of the roof. And so what happens is the woman goes back in time. Randy West is like Doc Brown, but he's just like a guy. He's not a crazy Doc Brown. And he invents a time machine but the wife accidentally goes in the time machine. She goes back in time. She fucks each of her parents individually, and while she's gone in the future, her past self comes to the future. First, she fucks her past self in the past also, and then she comes to Sharon Mitchell is the older self.
Was she she's sort of duck faced? She looked like one of the Land of Make Believe's puppets. Is that who I'm thinking of?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then the younger self comes to the future and fucks Randy West also.
So every combination is covered.
Yes.
Dusty Rose Bubbler suggests we do a watch along.
I do it. We have to cut out the sex scenes. It's worth it. Like the non-sex scenes are so funny and cringy.
But the episode would be 15 minutes long if we cut out the sex scenes.
You blur it.
I want to read this other part of his eulogy.
Oh.
West was blessed
Ah.
with a ruggedly handsome face,
Wow.
athletic body,
I don't know.
a permanent suntan thanks to too much time spent on the golf greens,
Well, he
and
wasn't
an
he earned that.
Right.
and an undeniable ability to perform. He was in strong demand for many companies.
Rob, well, first of all, let me say, I don't feel like he'd be a mainstream porn star now. Like, he just looks like a random.
No,
he's not
absolutely
ugly or
not.
anything, but he just looks like
this
a
is
dad.
so. This was the conversation we were having at the restaurant. We went to a Nets game together, and it was about like when I knew I was gay, and I was mentioning how I knew once I started watching porn and started focusing more on the men than the women, and it started getting really difficult because the men in the mid 90s were very unattractive. They all looked like old Jewish men.
Right.
And I was looking for like a young jock type. So there was only like one or two guys.
I just want to make
Vince Voyer was my guy.
for our listeners and our viewers who think that the conversations we have on the show are like not the conversations we'd be having otherwise. That we were at dinner, we couldn't talk about anything, and this is still the shit we were talking about.
This is realness right here. But
so Randy is the perfect example because literally all these guys are just producers who are like, yeah, I'll get in front of the camera.
Well, did Randy let's start out as a producer, or did he become one as he aged? I think he started out just as an actor, no?
If Randy came up today, all his videos would be on the amateurs tab where he's fucking his like housefrau wife with ill-fitting lingerie on.
He would be the new Jeff's Models, if anybody knows that brand.
Oh, sorry. I get the idea, though.
It's a very schlubby, gray-haired man who has sex with plus-size women.
Oh. Yes, that would be Randy West, for
It's
sure.
in my rotation.
Him and Harry Reams. Now, who's that other guy? I think this Jerry Butler, I would say, is probably a handsome guy.
I don't know if I know that one.
He was like he had kind of a Jewish afro, I would say, and but I feel like all his detrimental physical attributes were due to the style of the time. He's probably
just
a good-looking
victim
guy
of the 70s.
Yeah, or maybe I feel like he'd be more 80s. But yeah.
What about Jonathan Morgan, Rob? How would you feel about Jonathan Morgan?
Let's see.
I don't even know that one.
Oh, really? He was the same era as like Stephen St. Croix and all, like late 80s, early 90s. He was in a lot of the films.
Too creepy.
Really? Share the image if it's safe for work. Maybe Darren will have his memory refreshed.
I also want to get your opinion on Randy West as well.
What are you doing, Rob?
You don't remember that guy? I remember that guy.
He was like funny. He was like the Jim Carrey of porn.
Right.
Because that's why everybody watches porn, is for the funny dudes.
Well, there was one guy that looked like Gilbert Gottfried. What the fuck was his name?
Oh my god!
But it was like a Gonzo type of studio.
Seymour Butts?
No, Johnny Thrust. I think
Seymour Butts. I did not like.
Look up Johnny Thrust.
This is my guy. This is my guy, Vince Voyer. Kind of looked like a cross between Buff Bagwell and Joey from Friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say Matt LeBlanc for sure.
Yeah. And then wait, who was the next?
Johnny
guy?
Thrust. Johnny Thrust looks like Gilbert Gottfried a little bit. And talked like him too, but not with the heavy yeah, you know. But
He sounds like a 1980s wrestling manager. He would have been like at World Class Championship Wrestling or something.
And I'm not sure I'm getting the name right, so maybe not. This may be even.
There does not seem to be a safe for work. Okay.
I see.
Could you describe what you're seeing though, Rob? Of
This?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God! Didn't we go to college with that guy?
Yeah.
Dusty
Like
Rhodes
literally
also
any
does.
guy could be a male porn star. Like there was no
if you
fucking
can maintain a boner.
like look
on
at this
camera.
body. This is not a model-esque body. This is not a strap.
It's neutral. I'd say it's
Yeah.
neutral.
I guess.
Jafar, suck my cock, Jafar.
Oy.
Give
But
us
yeah,
some handsome
R.I.P.
man.
Randy West.
I had this girl bent over the sofa.
Whew.
Oh, now a Vince Voyer jerk off video. Oh my
What?
goodness.
He
Sorry
still
guys,
alive?
I gotta go.
Let's do the plugs quick and wrap up so he can. Joey Silvera was another one mentioned here.
Let's see.
He's another one with a Jew fro, but I don't think he's Jewish with that name unless it's a fake.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Thank you. You guys are like really proving my point of like
There's
the
not a lot
ugliest fucking dudes.
Joey
trying to-
Silvera was in every fucking movie for like 10 years.
Well, it felt like there was only 4 guys in the entire porno industry. Like we haven't talked about Herschel what's his name?
Savage.
Yeah, that
Herschel
Dusty Rhodes
Savage.
just mentioned.
Oh, okay. That guy was like looked like my fucking uncle or something. Looked like Uncle Gana.
And of course, Ron Jeremy. You can't forget.
Yeah, I mean he's the
He was in
original.
everything.
Is that your accountant?
I feel like he's like a good-looking guy. I feel. Like.
Ah,
I
little
don't know.
horse faced, little horse
I
shack,
guess here he looks not bad.
jacked horse shack.
He's cut above fucking Joey Silvera, though. Come on.
I feel like depends on the eye of the beholder.
Yeah,
I'd
okay,
put
fair
them-
enough.
It's different ends of the same spectrum.
I mean, he's no Vince Voyer.
Have you kept up with Vince Voyer? Does he still work, Rob?
Got
Do
a
you know
blog?
what he's up to?
He's really lost his looks. He kind of turned
Oh.
into like more of a producer. He would do kind of those amateur videos where he would interview a broad.
Oh, the
And then,
anabolic initiations. I remember. He had some hot women in those.
Mm-hmm.
That was
worked
always
for
such
me
an
as a youngster.
off-putting name, anabolic. I remember.
Yeah,
Going
It
through
doesn't
that,
really like he's like he
telling on
got old.
himself. He looks like he's in NoFX. He looks like
Yeah.
Fat Mike.
Who's that guy?
Who?
Not. Oh man, he had like a whole series of like those amateur things, but he was like a real old guy. His name was Jake something. He's like must have been 60.
Jake Steed.
No, he was just a real schlubby looking guy. I'll have to look it
Who's
up.
Jake Steed? Is that a football player?
Jake Malone. Jake Malone. He was
Oh,
like
no, Jake
60
Steed.
years old while doing these scenes.
Let's see.
But this was more like early 2000s, I feel like.
I just looked up Jake Steed, and he was a porn star. And the reference that Google gives me is the film "Little White Chicks, Big Black Monster Dicks."
Oh,
Jake Malone is hung. Oh my god.
big cock, but old
Holy
man,
mo-
Brooklyn man.
Yeah, he
with
looks
big cock.
like a rejected member of the Rolling Stones. Here, look
Let's
on
see.
here.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, there you go.
Oh no!
You
Yeah,
can't
you
go
see,
there.
I have
you
to
see
zoom in
Foreigner?
extremely. Let's see if I can find another.
I remember seeing one of the porns that I watched with him, and it was like oh boy, they showed outtakes at the end. So they did like one of those blooper reels at the end of the porn, and they show him injecting his dick, and he's like, "Get the
Oh.
fucking camera off me! I told you not to shoot this. I'm injecting my dick." And they showed it like a close up of him
Ugh.
injecting his dick. It was really disgusting.
Yeah, I was not
Sounds
into
like
that.
the big orexia.
Oh, Randy! How do we not mention Randy Spears? He was also.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh God, he was super old too, right?
Yeah.
Britney's
was in,
dad,
like-
right?
Yes. He's in everything. This guy. I guess it really was like with the male stars. It's like you had to find reliable guys with boners because this was pre-Viagra.
Did you like John Doe?
Let's see.
Dough.
This has now become one of those Noah segments.
I mean, that's ever since you came out. I feel like
He doesn't look familiar, John Doe.
Huh. Interesting. Maybe you need to go back and revisit his catalog.
Mm-hmm.
This is like you getting into old band. Like I finally started listening to David Bowie. It's great. Finally watching John Doe scenes.
I want to go back to my my childhood home, see if I could find my old VHS tapes, because what I would end up doing is I had a VHS hooked up to my cable boxes because I started getting so picky with the type of men. Sometimes it would take me one or two movies. Like I'd go through a whole movie. I was like, oh, nothing for me here. And it's like I started to get selective.
Right.
Started with option paralysis.
You're not
so I started making myself straight porn mixtapes with hot guys, just so I had a reliable collection of scenes when I needed to crank it really quick.
Imagine if you had the presence of mind to sell those to your drama classmates.
Right. That's how we got on the topic during our dinner. Because I was talking to them about how I'm friends with a lot of my friends from the theater department from high school, and 90% of us were closet homosexuals, and none of us would talk about it, outwardly. But now everyone lives a comfortable public gay life. Although no longer on Facebook, it looks like. No, I don't know. But And we were just talking about how, like, oh, no one would mention it, and that, like, oh, did I know? And then I mentioned how, well, I guess I was watching porn and looking for guys in porn. So on some level, I thought I was more SSA, same-sex attracted. That's what the Christian term is for.
Yeah, we discussed this on the show. That's what the
we have to watch it. We have to do a watch along of that reality show, because they did a reality show with straight couples where the man is same-sex attracted, and the whole drama is the wife being like, I gotta make sure he doesn't gaze at another man because the temptation is so strong. He might fall to sin.
Gay!
It could have been you and Noah. It's so sad. The missed opportunity. You could have been on that show.
You could have
if only she had less self-confidence, Yeah. It could have worked out. But no. Feminism had to tell her she could do better.
Your mistake was you waited too long to get into BJJ.
Yeah, you're right. I should have started before her.
Yeah, then you had an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think if there's any other straight porn stars.
No more.
Well, Peter North, of course. Let's see who else. Oh, there's a gay blog with the 10 hottest straight male porn. Oh, Julian Rios. I guess he was like a newer star that came out in the late 90s, but he was definitely, it felt like a guy for the gays.
Name does not ring a bell.
Remember Mark Wallace? That guy, I remember he got in trouble because
he spread AIDS, right?
Yeah, that was on that document. This guy was Julian Rios.
Oh, okay.
He was in like every porn after 2000. I feel like this guy, and like everyone was accusing him of being gay because he was a pretty boy.
That's
and like his whole thing is like, I dare you to find one scene where I got another guy's cock in my hand. I dare you. That was
I had them all destroyed.
I mean, just because he's not doing it on film doesn't mean he's not doing it in his private life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nacho Vidal, Dusty mentions.
Mm. That's too distracting for Rob because then he just wants nachos. Trying to keep focus on
Peter North. I've of course already spoken of my affinity for.
Nacho Vidal got Me Too'd, I think. Right?
Oh, how can you as a porn star, man? The bar is so low, and to still get Me Too'd as a porn star is wild.
I think he was abusing the.
Well, I mean, Ron Jeremy got Me Too'd just as well.
I suppose that's true. Yeah,
you go outside the boundaries of what you agree to in the scene and mistreat the women, Let me make sure.
Lexington Steele, what an icon.
Yeah, we've discussed.
Oh, that brings me to think of Shawn Michaels too. Did you like the black?
Right? Yes, Shawn Michaels. Yeah, I was into Shawn Michaels.
Mr. Marcus.
Mr. Marcus. Yeah, definitely. It's where it was the. Oh, this is how you be a dom top. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Mr. Marcus. Thanks for showing me the way.
And you could do it while wearing a hat backwards. Wasn't that his thing? He always had a hat on during his scenes. Like
By the way,
LL
guys,
Cool J.
sorry. I looked up Nacho Vidal. The first headline is Spanish porn star charged with reckless homicide after toad venom death.
Oh, what?
Spanish porn
Wow.
star Nacho Vidal has been charged with reckless homicide after a man died during a ceremony involving toad venom.
This sounds familiar, actually. Maybe did we actually talk about this at some point? Because this is ringing a vague bell with me.
Remember.
Maybe it's just something I read in my toad venom subreddit.
Well, all right. Let's talk about our Spotify picks. Each week, we each pick a song. We throw it on a playlist on Spotify. It's called the RIPL Livecast Music Break. And this week, I picked a song from a band you may have heard of. They're called ABBA. And for the longest time, I did not like ABBA. I thought ABBA was corny. And then I was talking one day to one of the folks from Nightclub, the dance duo, Mark, who we've had on the show, actually, and whose music I very much respect. And he was like, yeah, I've really been listening to ABBA a lot lately. And I'm like, really? He's like, dude, you got to check it out. It's so heavy. It's so good. The production is so crazy. Like, he was fawning over it the way others would fawn over David Bowie a few years ago, as you mentioned, Sid. And I was like, oh, I should get into David Bowie. And like, yeah, I love this. And so I went and checked out ABBA. Here's the thing about ABBA. Half their songs are like really slow, corny pop ballads. I'm not into those. But then they have these hard disco hits that are so aggressive and like have such a drive to them. I'm like, this is some of the greatest music I've ever heard.
Quite a Johnny Thrust to them.
Yes, yes. And Lay All Your Love on Me is one of those songs. It is a disco song, but it goes really hard. And the progression of the notes are pretty heavy. So I really like it. That one and Gimme, 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 A Man After Midnight is another really good. That one is a song that Madonna sampled. Madonna sampled that one for Every Little Thing. But that song goes pretty hard too. So, but I picked Lay All Your Love on Me. That's my pick. Sid, what about you?
Well, as we said before, we all hung out on Wednesday night. And on the ride back, I was dropping Rob off at his house. And we were listening to Sirius XM. And it was the Lithium station. And Tom Morello was doing his show. And while Tom Morello is one of my favorite guitarists of all time, I feel like we have a little too much Tom Morello in the world right now. And a little not enough Zach De La Rocha. And so I picked his band that he was in before Rage Against the Machine called Inside Out. They were like sort of a youth crew hardcore band, sort of metally sounding. And they only put out one EP, but it was pretty good. And I picked the song By a Thread by Zach De La Rocha.
It was great.
Inside Out.
Yeah. And funny enough, that Adam Jones took Tom Morello to an Inside Out gig one day, and that's how he met.
Oh, wow.
Oriole Center
Zach De
Field.
La Rocha. Adam Jones from Tool, who went to high school with Tom Morello. They're high school buddies. Darren, what's your pick?
Well, also related to our hangout, we went to see the Brooklyn Nets get slaughtered by
the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes, and the Brooklyn Nets, their cheerleading squad called the Brooklyn Nets. And we saw the lovely Laura Linney was at the game.
That's the what celebrity?
Star of stage and screen. They put her on the
Still, we were like, whoa.
Yeah, totally unexpected.
They put her on the big Titantron up there, and she looked very embarrassed to be there, or at least
be caught in a Netscape.
Yes, or to be on the screen at least. But I memorialized the lovely Laura Linney by finding a children's song that she recorded.
What?
From a children's album where it's just different celebrities singing different songs that accompanied a book that some children's author wrote. And it's very good and catchy. It's called Please Can I Keep It? About a child finding a some unspecified kind of animal.
So Laura Linney can carry a tune?
Yeah, she's good.
Oh, wow.
She's
Cool.
good. It sounds very show-tuney.
Okay. Interesting.
Also, big shout out to Simone Fontecchio for having a great game. The Pistons. Fontecchio from the Pistons. We were having a great time shouting him out because he was just constantly going on runs against the Nets.
That game was just like a watch along. It was so much fun. We were just commenting on everything that was happening. We weren't really into the game that much because like the Nets are so bad. Like they're kind of just playing out the string and trying to get a good draft pick. So it was like trying to find other entertaining things going on in this game. And we were just chanting Fontecchio during the whole game and making like curses in Italian. Fangul, you know.
And he just kept doing shit. He's like a bench scrub for the Pistons, but he took over the fucking game. So
he scored like 20 points in the game.
I mean, we got like 10. It's starting in like he came off the bench in the second quarter too.
Yeah,
he scored fucking 20 points.
You couldn't miss.
Well, everybody's on 10-day contracts with the Nets. What do you want? This is gonna happen like every night.
Yeah, so it was a great time. We should go in the spring when the weather's a little warmer again. Find another game.
Tickets will be even cheaper.
Go to a Mets game when it's his birthday.
Oh,
well,
absolutely.
on my birthday is when they're retiring David Wright's number.
On your birthday?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we should go.
It's going to be those tickets are already very expensive.
Oh, okay.
It's a one-time thing. I'm not gonna fucking like.
And that's also on a Saturday, so we've got the show.
We'll do the show live.
Oh my God!
Live broadcast from the lot.
We might have to move that. I got to see David Wright's number get retired. We could do it.
I think it's a later I think you'd be able to make it, even if we did the show. I think, but we have months. We have 7 months to figure it out.
Folks, I know what you're thinking. You're like, wait, the show is over?
Oh,
I need more show. I need a little more live cast in my life. I want to support you guys. You guys give me so much free comedy. How can I give you some support financially? Well, you can.
No one in our audience talks like that. I'm just saying.
Patreon.com/RIPLivecast. We'll take your tips. We'll take more than just the tip. And if you dump $4 in the tip jar, you get access to our bonus episode archive. You get 3 or 4 or 5. How many years have we been doing this? Many years of bonus episodes.
COVID.
No, just the Patreon. I mean, how many years?
18 years. I stayed.
And you get tons of free episodes or episodes with the donation, including, like we mentioned, we did a listen along to the Macho Man album, Be a Man. We watched a Hulk Hogan movie, Mr. Nanny, right? Or no, the robot one, the the Suburban Commando. Oh, Santa with Muscles? Is that the one we watched?
Yes, it was one of the
Did
first
we watch Suburban Commando?
I don't think so.
Why did I think Mr. Nanny? Because that one was good.
No.
Santa with Muscles was bad.
That's the worst one he's done, though.
The young Mila Kunis.
And also, I really like our most recent watch along for January, the documentary Bigorexia. Bigorexia being the antonym of anorexia. It's about people who can't help but growing muscle and going on drugs to look even bigger and all of these unhealthy situations for themselves. So check that out. Patreon.com/RPLivecast. $10 a month. You get a shout out at the end of the show, which is right now. How should we do it?
Peter Steele. Doing something. I don't know what.
Peter Steele saying where he's seen all of these people while hanging out in Marine Park.
All right. Is there did you send a new weekly shout outs? Or
I sure did.
Oh, well, hold on one moment.
At 8:31 a.m., bright and early.
Unbelievable. My email didn't refresh.
What are you doing up at 8:30 on a Saturday?
It's a sad state of affairs, I tell you.
Yeah, I was up at 7:30. It's fine.
Just clearly not checking email.
Hey, this is Peter Steele from Beyond the Grave. Say Peter Steele. I want to give a shout out to Benjamin. I saw him at Pete's Pizza. FUM. He would not lend me 25 cents, but then I saw Dan Aw on Garrettson Beach. He tried to get me to go to Chinar restaurant, and I said, no, there's too many Russians there.
Wow.
I knew that would have popped in. And then after I left Chinar, does Chinar still exist?
I don't think so.
Every Russian person in that area went to Chinar restaurant.
That was on like Garrettson Avenue at Avenue U, I think.
That one and Chikurin Sushi was the other.
That's
yes.
I go with my mom sometimes.
Massachusetts. You try to get me to go to Brennan and Carl, but Peter Steele's a roller roaster guy. Peter Steele just had some great roller roaster, got a beef dip with Lando Danks. He went to the Carvel with LaCroix. Got some flying saucers for Corey and Scotty H before I got some spumoni as well. That's right, Peter Steele likes a cold treat. Peter Steele. Then I found Aaron at Coney Island. We went on the Cyclone. And then I told Mr. Schmertzler, I can't go to class, Mr. Schmertzler. I got practice at Fastlane. And when I get to Fastlane, Douglas Levison asks me, who are you? I say, I'm Peter Steele. Where's my rehearsal room? And then Slinky's is in my room. I got to kick his ass, get him out of the room. He throws some Wise potato chips in my bass guitar case. I said, Slinky's, what the hell are you doing? He said, it wasn't me. It was Jamda. And I said, Randy, Blood, get out of here. Peter Steele. That's our show. Have a good day, Peter Steele. That's our show, folks. We'll be back next week. Until then, we love you. We kiss you. Bye-bye. Peter Steele.